Hey everyone, welcome back.
Welcome back! We're back with Phoenix and his serious face.
But there is still a chance that there might not be too much left of this case. Either way. So either this is the same episode or a new episode, so you'll know.
Someone else is also engaged.
Mr. Wright, continue. So it's 2:30 on the day of the murder. Ms. D. Vasquez meets Jack Hammer outside the Studio 2 trailer. Then she did it. She pushed Mr. Hammer off the stairs onto the fence. Just like Mr. Hammer had himself done 5 years ago. Though, whether she did it on purpose or by accident, I cannot say.
That's very important to say. Because he's not saying she intentionally tried to kill him outside the studio, she's just guilty of a cover-up.
In other words, the victim, Mr. Hammer, he died the same way he caused another man to die? 5 years ago. Precisely. Ironic, isn't it?
Ho ho, very creative, Mr. Wright.
Not sure how you fabricated that second image, but sure. Let's just...
I could use a man like you on my script writing staff.
Deny what I say is true?
Mr. Wright, let's say for the sake of an argument that Hammer died at the trailer, as you say. Yet the body was found at Studio... with the van. Because she was fatigued from killing him.
Yeah.
Yet the body was found at Studio 1, was it not? You played yourself. And in the evil magistrate's costume, no less. You just have Sal dress him up. Are you then claiming that I carried the body to Studio 1? And returned to the trailer all in the space of a 15-minute break? How could I have disposed of the body?
The break in the meeting at the trailer lasted 15 minutes, from 2:30 to 2:45. Could Jack Hammer have been pushed off the stairs to his death, then carried to Studio 1 and placed inside his costume? There wasn't enough time.
The body wasn't moved at that time, though. It was moved at 4 o'clock when they were able to move
and we're gonna have to prove that. Well, Mr. Wright, how could she have dealt with the body?
She had another way. Let's say...
What if she had another way to carry the body, other than her own hands?
For instance?
Actually, for that matter, there was no need for her to do the deed in 15 minutes. There was a way for you to carry that body.
Interesting. Let's hear it then.
Mr. Wright, please show us how she carried the body.
In the van. With that T-bone steak plate. She carried the body in the plate.
Ms. Vasquez, you carried the body to Studio 1, and you used the studio van to do it.
The studio van you so kindly brought up so that we could use it in court.
Yes, because...
Thanks for that, girl.
Recall your testimony. There was to be another rehearsal, so we went to Studio 1, fatigued, you had Sal take you. And the van there, you had Sal drive you.
And in that time, you changed the costume of the body.
Yeah.
Or you had it done at the Studio 1 place, which explains the lack of blood in the area.
Yeah.
But to use the incinerator to get rid of the Steel Samurai costume.
Yeah, which is why they had to get a second one to test stuff out. You used the van to carry the body to Studio 1, then before everyone else got there, you put the body into the magistrate costume.
You know we're right, Miles. Just let us arrest her.
Hold on, right? Don't you forget there was Sal Manella who drove the van. Are you suggesting that Mr. Manella is a conspirator? Yeah, of course he was. Of course he could have been a conspirator. The body had to be placed in the van and put into the costume. There's no way Miss Vasquez could have done that alone. Also, don't forget that they had to dispose of the Steel Samurai costume. They had to because it was covered in Mr. Hammer's blood.
Yet there was no blood.
They probably burned it in that small incinerator.
Because there's no blood anywhere in the area.
Because if there's an incinerator in a Phoenix Wright game, it's always used to dispose of something. It has never been not that. Ever.
And they must not have had T-bone steaks. Which is why Sal was hungry and he lied about it.
Probably what happened was he was in the process of eating his steak, and they wrapped up the steaks in the costume to give themselves a clearer alibi.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ms. Vasquez, shall I continue?
No need. You're smarter than you look, Mr. Wright. I lose, you win. It was fun. Wait, just like that?
I win?
Did she just confess to the murder and we're done?
So what happens next? Don't me. Don't you have anything to say?
What would you like me to say? Is she coming quietly? She can't possibly be coming quietly. This is a Phoenix Wright game. Where resisting arrest and perjury are everyone's number 2 emotions.
I lost something like that?
I just said that.
Wait, so you mean D. Vasquez, it was you. You killed Jack Hammer.
Who can say?
Huh?
Are you sure I did, Mr. Wright? We just engaged in a battle of wits. And the result of that battle, you proved the possibility that I murdered Hammer.
Right.
But that is only a possibility. Proof is another thing altogether. You lack decisive proof, Mr. Wright.
What? What? I love how this case
This
just
all
goes,
lacks
yeah, you proved it. Can you prove it? It's like, whatever. Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Of course, as the witness says, certainly it does seem likely she did it, but there's no proof.
Are you okay there, Edgeworth? Are you?
Edgeworth isn't sure?
Because he knows she's guilty. And he knows Will Powers is innocent.
Yeah, but she hasn't broke down and confessed yet, so clearly there's still more of the case to do. Which is why he's confused, because he's like,
That's not usually how my case is with Edgeworth.
So we use the spear.
Can we save really
Here's
fast?
the map. Here's that. We use the photo. The sleeping pills earlier. Here's the stake. We use the van. There is no actual piece of evidence that we haven't used in the case yet, which is why everyone's a little confused.
I came here as a witness today. If you've no more questions, I'll be leaving.
What do I do now? I would like you to testify again. Testify again?
Know when to give up, Mr. Wright. Think about it. Even if I were to testify again, what's the point? I can only say what I said before, the truth, Mr. Wright. I've already said all there is to say. You lied!
No, she technically hasn't lied yet. That's the weird thing about this case. She hasn't lied at all. Mm-hmm. All she's saying is that that is in fact a possibility, and everything she has said has actually correlated to everything else.
What would happen if I said it again? You'd ask the same questions, get the same answers. A waste of... She said exactly what I was about to comment on.
Yeah. Dang it. come so far, only to fail. Since there's no further questions, I would like to end the cross-examination of witness Ms. Vasquez.
Edgeworth!
Yes, Mr. Edgeworth.
His justice senses are tingling.
I was hoping to come up with a question while I was objecting, Your Honor. I didn't. I see. Very well. Your Honor! I request that the witness testify again.
Why is he helping us? You are the prosecutor, are you not? Why are you badgering me? I'm your witness.
I just want to hear your testimony again.
Does this make any sense to you, Your Honor? I don't see what we have to gain by repeating the last several minutes.
Mr. Edgeworth, I too see a little point in making Miss Vasquez repeat herself. What exactly did you want her to testify about? Well, yes,
Oh, what a sweetheart. He's trying to help us.
Indeed, verily I say, ergo. I want to hear about what happened after they found the body. After they found the body?
Well, no
Very
one's
well.
asked about this, so Edgeworth does have a point, and she is a key witness.
Yeah, because her and Sal were the people who found him,
And-
quote unquote.
Yeah, because it wasn't Powers. He got there and there was all ratty commotion. He walked in last. Everyone testified to it.
Yeah, the witness will testify to the court concerning this matter.
Huh. Nick! Why did Edgeworth...
Who knows? He probably realized she did it too.
But, you know, this means that he likes us, right? Wasn't he the one that says he always gets a guilty verdict? After all that...
Edgeworth. Okay, here we go.
After finding the body. Thanks, Miles. I was with Sal and Oldbag, the security lady, when we found the body. The assistant was there too, only Powers was absent, because he was asleep. I immediately called the police. Then Powers showed up. The security lady Oldbag was quite agitated, pointing at Powers, saying, "He did it." I asked to be left out of the proceedings. I went back to my trailer to get my script and direction notes. Then I went home.
I see no issues raised by this testimony. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination.
Okay, Nick, we're close. Real close. She may be acting tough now, but if you put her on the spot, she's sure to falter. Find the key you need and twist the truth out of her, Nick.
What she's saying is you need to press every subject until she drops a little bit more information. Right.
Because Miles knows what we're about to do and how we always wheedle out some form of information.
What time did you find him?
We were to meet at 5 o'clock for the rehearsal. So there's an hours of time difference between when the meeting ended and you appearing at Studio 1. If I was trapped in a prolonged meeting for an overextended period of time, and I like to write, it's all I do. When I'm not writing, that's a physical drain on me, and I don't know if this is the case for everyone who writes or creates some form of art. Wouldn't she then go and be working during that time? So she must have some form of information about the hour discrepancy from 4 to 5.
When exactly did Mr. Manella arrive at the studio? You and Mr. Manella.
About 10 minutes before, so there's a window of 15 minutes we don't have accounted for. I wasn't stuffing anybody's into costumes, mind you. We need to press hard on this.
No. Yeah, too.
2? Okay. Because there's then a 50-minute discrepancy from the end.
Were there other employees when you got to the studio?
There weren't any yet.
Well, you could have just put Hammer into the costume with Salmonella's help.
Oh? What did I just say? Did I not just say I wasn't stuffing any bodies in and to any costume? But you had a 15-minute window in which to do that. When even I could do it in 50 minutes, and his corpse was long cold. You should try to listen to what people are saying, boy.
Boy? Witness will continue her testimony. Only Powers were absent. Mr. Powers was taking a nap, correct?
So he says. Well, he was drugged.
Yeah. Did no one go to call him?
Remember.
Remember what?
There was a dead body lying in front of us, and you expect me to be calm. You're always calm as a cucumber. You can't be anything but calm even when you're killing someone.
Certainly seemed calm enough when I accused you of murder. No, just on 2.
Just on 2.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't died yet. We've gotten close, but we haven't died yet.
Wait, wouldn't that be the other way around?
The other way around?
You discovered a murdered body, and one person was missing, right? Wouldn't you normally go looking for the missing person? I have to agree with the defense on this one.
I agree too. There could be two bodies of the most important characters to have on set that day. And one is dead and the other is missing.
Well, Miss Vasquez?
Logically speaking, perhaps. But no one was thinking very logically, I assure you. I mean, you could hear the assistant screaming in shock when we dragged the body in. Also, without his steel samurai costume, Powers doesn't really he's built like a brick house. Have you seen the man? Doesn't stand up. He looks like a lion. A very cowardly lion. We often left him on the bus when shooting at location. It certainly wasn't because none of the veterans on staff liked him or anything, or that there was a general mistrust and disrespect of Powers that was well documented at this point. No one noticed he was missing.
Poor Powers.
A Phoenix can relate to such behavior, I assure you.
Suppose that explains that.
No,
Very well, Miss Vasquez, you may continue.
there is documented history of people on staff not liking Powers if they were veterans.
Mm-hmm.
This is very suspect behavior.
Was everyone else doing that at the same time?
No one said a thing. It was silent, completely silent. And then he walks in saying, "How? What happened here?" So we stood there until Powers finally arrived on the scene because you had an iron grip of the control of the situation.
Yeah, most likely.
Sorry, sorry, I'm late. Then silence. Dead silence. She's so dramatic.
Yeah, just like that. Silence.
Hey, Nick. Why is everyone so quiet? Someone should do something to lighten things up. Oh my. It's because everyone in the room now knows for a fact that she's guilty.
Yeah.
and they just need to prove it, and everyone's on board because no one likes her. And this is why, in the filming industry, the worst thing you can be is rude. Nothing kills your career faster than trying to blackmail your associates.
Old Ben, security lady. Why did the security lady think Powers had done it?
Because she always hated him. Phoenix, have you even been here for the last couple days of the trial? She said because she saw him going towards the studio.
Right, still samurai.
Press harder.
Yeah, we've been doing that so far. Did the detective arrest Mr. Powers based solely on the security lady's word?
Perhaps not. She seemed to have also given the detective that photograph. Of course, I heard all this after the fact.
That photograph, meaning the one taken by the security camera.
But we know for a fact it wasn't him, it was Hammer in the costume.
Yeah.
She's not known for exhibiting the best sense of judgment when it comes to hammers. I mean, he killed a man.
I don't think there's anything in there I could use. You asked to be left out?
Yes. It seems that everyone else was questioned. And I'm really not fond of that sort of thing. Legally, if you're not guilty, you should be very fond of that sort of thing to get yourself ruled out as quickly as possible. Unless you were busy further disposing of evidence.
But you can't just decide who the police will and won't question.
Thankfully, the studio thinks otherwise. They were nice enough to understand that since we were in a meeting, there was no way we could have been involved. Thus, they covered for us. And dozen miles
for you?
hate that. Or covered it up.
Covered for you or covered up for you? There's been a lot riding on it with all these bigwigs in the meeting. Sure, her professionals helped convince everyone they didn't require questioning.
That's another thing that's the most suspicious. She goes back and then leaves.
Script and your direction notes?
'Cause she's very suspect throughout this whole thing. You can't outrule her being there the whole time. Yes, they're quite valuable. It wouldn't do to have them stolen.
No, I guess not, but... Wait. I thought you came to Studio 1 for a rehearsal. Why didn't you bring your script and notes?
Well, I was under the impression that we wouldn't be able to rehearse anything.
Why?
There was That girl just played herself! How did she know beforehand that there was a murder? When apparently Who could think of rehearsing after that?
Oh yeah, I guess. Farewell, Miss Vasquez. Please continue. Objection. Your Honor.
Edgeworth is the
Sorry,
only...
I've been listening to like 10 minutes of Phoenix basically waffle about, and I just had to interject.
She just confessed!
Yeah, she just
Again!
confessed.
And Edgeworth is the only person in the room with a single brain cell to his name.
I have an objection to the witness's last statement.
You should too, Phoenix.
Think. Miss Vasquez, she didn't bring the script because there wouldn't be a rehearsal. Don't you see what that means? She would have had to know that there was a murder before going to Studio 1.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Miles. You're the best.
Order! Mr. Edgeworth.
I want her
What
dead.
you just said is a reasonable observation. However, I find it hard to understand why the prosecution would make such a move.
Because he's blinded by justice. Miles Edgeworth will do anything to see that people who are guilty of murder are put away behind bars for the rest of their life. Because he's a lawful evil.
Most lawyers are lawful evil because they follow rules to the letter and do not care about who they steal.
Some of them are neutral evil. They just
Most paladins are lawful evil.
This is true.
You think of a career change to defense.
You should.
No thanks. That suit was terrible. I appreciate your concern, Your Honor. You've seen the outfit he was wearing when he was a defense lawyer. It's terrible.
Oh, I've seen it.
He still keeps it in his office, and I do not know why.
Probably because he might need it again. Are you kidding me?
I'll stand by my statement, however, regardless of how the court sees my role here. Now, Miss Vasquez, do you have an explanation? I can't believe Edgeworth is helping me.
Well, Oh. So the prosecution is in cahoots with the defense. What kind
Cahoots.
of court?
Cahoots.
What kind of court is this? Technically now, it's a kangaroo court because everyone in the room wants to see you go to jail.
Cahoots is such a funny word.
No matter. I think you misunderstood me. I had a perfectly good reason to believe there would be no rehearsal. You could have just said Powers' leg hurt his leg.
I knew that Hammer was injured.
No, he wasn't!
Wait, Hammer, don't you mean the other way around?
How did you know?
No. Wasn't it Powers?
It was Powers.
Wasn't it Powers who had the injury? Wait a second.
I had to find something to peg her on this. Yeah, it's the spear, right? It's the spear. Because Powers busted his leg.
She thinks Hammer was injured because he came up in the suit pretending to have the limp. Oh my gosh. Do we actually have to present the photo? I think we do.
It's either this or it's this, and I don't know which one it is.
I think, let's just try the photo first.
Here. Oh, we're good. Oh, I hit the wrong button.
Yeah.
I always...
You knew that Hammer was injured? Don't you think that's a little funny? I mean, it was the Steel Samurai who was injured. It was Will Powers.
Uh-huh. She keeps crossing herself.
Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Yes, Mr. Hammer was dragging his leg in this photo. But that's because he was pretending to be Mr. Powers.
Pretending?
One person was injured in the run-through that morning.
Which she would have known if she was there.
But she wasn't, because only the director was.
Mm-hmm.
That person was Mr. Powers, not Mr. Hammer. Now, why did you think it was Mr. Hammer who was injured?
Because he came up to Studio Audio 2 limping and then pulled off his mask saying, see, I could be the Steel Samurai and no one would know.
And then Sal would be like, doesn't the suit look a little bit too big for you? And it's like, oh, shut up.
I already said it was Sal who told me. That's right, he must have gotten it wrong. No.
I think not. Mr. Manella was at the run-through that morning. He would have known it was Mr. Powers who was injured. He saw it happen. Why would he tell you the wrong person? Ms. Vasquez.
You saw Hammer limping.
Actually, you didn't hear anything from Mr. Manila. You saw Mr. Hammer limping with your own eyes. Well, yeah, but wasn't it Mr. Powers who was injured? Yes, but remember, Mr. Hammer was dragging his leg too. He was pretending to be him. Ah, when he was doing this? Well, it would have to be when he put on the Steel Samurai costume. And he went to Studio 2, where he was murdered. Exactly.
I like that they're both working together. It's great.
Miss Vasquez, you met him, didn't you? You saw the Steel Samurai limping. And Mr. Hammer was in the Steel Samurai outfit. That's why you were confused. That's why you thought it was Mr. Hammer who had been injured that morning. Order! I will have order! Witness, can you refute this claim? Yeah, let's see you sneak out of this one, Vasquez.
Very well. I have a question for you.
Why are the real killers always so persistent?
Why in the world would I want Hammer dead? Because he was gonna come clean. Yes, he'd fallen on hard times, but he was a star. I had nothing to gain from his death. Nothing. Actually, you had everything to gain from his death, probably. Now, this is just
you would need a motive.
conjecture, but maybe he was threatening to come clean about the photo, come clean about the blackmail,
Or maybe wanted to raise.
Yeah.
Because he had been working for 5 years on bit parts, and he's like, listen, I need to actually support my $18 million mansion.
And so, in light of him going to come clean about the blackmail, you killed him to protect the blackmail you had on everyone else at the studio, which is how you had so much power.
Is there a reason to be unclear to this court?
Is Miles going to cut in with this and explain the motive? Because he's probably thought it through.
Yeah.
The instant she walked in, he was like, okay, she's responsible for this, how do I prove it?
Does the defense have anything to say on the matter? In other words, can you prove she had a motive? Okay, I have proof, and I'll show it to you. I present to the court the evidence as to Miss Vasquez's motive for this murder. What the long way around? This is my proof. This is the photo from before? This photo reveals the motive in this murder. I'm right, aren't I, Miss Vasquez? 5 years ago, Mr. Hammer was at the height of his fame. With D. Vasquez's help, a terrible accident was swept under the carpet. Ladies and gentlemen, this case currently up for trial. It began on that day 5 years ago. Ironically enough, that accident precipitated Mr. Hammer's fall. His fall from stardom. His guilt weighed him down, no doubt. However, you, D. Vasquez, used Mr. Hammer. You made him work for you for petty change. Bringing us to the present day, and Mr. Hammer's last role as the evil magistrate. Yeah, undoubtedly it was the constant source of his shame for the ex-star. One moment, Mr. Wright.
I like this.
Are we talking about motives here? Yet you only have talked about Mr. Hammer. It almost seems as if Mr. Hammer, who had killed, as if it was Mr. Hammer who killed D. Vasquez, not the other way around. What motive would Miss Vasquez have?
Yes, that's right, according to what you say. I would have no reason to kill Hammer. He was a good source of income for me. And I never get rid of useful men. It's a policy of mine.
Mr. Wright? Please explain to Miss Vasquez. Explain Miss Vasquez's motive for murder.
Do we have additional evidence?
What would we even use to prove here? I mean, if anything...
Is it...
Oh. She had no motive, Your Honor. What's that now? It was Mr. Hammer who was out for blood. All Miss Vasquez did was push him off the stairs in self-defense. What's that now? It's simple. Mr. Hammer was intending to kill Miss Vasquez. What? Whoa.
Phoenix? Edgeworth didn't plan on this?
No, I don't think he did. Your Honor? Jack Hammer drugged Mr. Powers' sleeping pills. Jack Hammer snuck into the dressing room and stole the Steel Samurai costume. Jack Hammer wore the costume to fool the security lady into thinking he was Powers. Then, Jack Hammer made his way to the trailer. And for what purpose, you ask? To kill Dee Vasquez, who had cruelly taken advantage of him all those years. So, you did do it, didn't you?
Yes. I am guilty. It was me. Someone call an ambulance. There's blood everywhere. We're too late. Oh, Miss Vasquez. What happened here?
Manuel, yeah.
Manuel fell from the trailer stairs.
Manuel.
Miss Vasquez, please try to remain calm. No, no, no. How could this... It was an accident.
Mr. Hammers was doing an action scene and...
Don't touch him, Miss Vasquez. Please, please. I think it's a bit too late for him to die, honey. I think he's already dead. Congratulations, Mr. Wright. I lose again.
They only made one back sprite. Mr. Edgeworth, where's Dee Vasquez? In the waiting lobby, Your Honor. As calm and collected as ever. I see. Mr. Wright. Yeah, Your Honor? It appears you have brought yet another miracle. I thank you, Your Honor. I think not, Your Honor. Will Powers was innocent. Should be found so... That he should be found so is only natural, not a miracle. Yes, you're right. Very well.
He's an
This
arbiter
court
of
finds the
justice.
defendant, Mr. Will Powers, not guilty.
Guilty. Oh, look, there he is.
That is all. The score is adjourned.
Jack Hammer would have killed Dee and then framed Will for it.
Yeah. Isn't it
That's
just so the
haunting.
villain of the story to use a careful disguise to get rid of his... to frame his arch nemesis?
Because he needed both Dee and Will out of the way.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know what to say. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're okay. Yeah, but it's sad. Now I know Mr. Hammer stole my costume. It's bad enough that he wanted to kill Miss Vasquez. But I think he tried to frame me for the murder. Make me sad. Tell me why, Mr. Wright. Huh? Tell me. Why did Mr. Hammer want to blame me? Well, this is what I think. Mr. Hammer wanted to put the blame on you because you were the Steel Samurai. Because I was the Steel Samurai? Well, yeah, Mr. Hammer was a big star once. But he was reduced to acting in kids shows. And as the villain to boot. Kids loved the Steel Samurai and so he hated you. I think I understand. He could have just told me. I would have changed place with him at any time. I think you're missing the point. Thank you. I'm just glad it's all over.
He wanted the pay raise, not the accolades from it. Well, he wanted both, but he wanted the pay raise more
Yeah.
than the making the hearts of kids happy. So,
So am I.
congratulations, WP!
Oh, ho, ho. Yes. Thanks to you, I'll be able to don the Steel Samurai outfit once more.
I've got bad news to tell you, WP. Bad news for both you, Maya, and Miles, who is also coincidentally a big fan of the show as well.
Yeah.
They canceled.
Can't wait to get back into that sweaty costume and... Huh? Is something wrong?
You can hear Miles sobbing in the next room.
No, of course not.
Ah! Nick! Edgeworth! What are you doing here glaring at us? We didn't do anything. Except make you lose again.
Say something, right? I'm not good at small talk.
Aw, he's great.
What?
Do you want to get...
That was too bad, Edgeworth. Don't waste time gloating, do you? No, I really want to thank you. Vasquez would have gone away if you hadn't stepped in. Pleased to meet you. I'm Powers. Edgeworth. Big fan of your work, Mr. Powers. Liar.
No, actually, I am. I love the show.
Right.
It's my one joy in life. That and Farmville.
I must say, I hadn't expected to meet you after all these years. Again?
Meet again? Do you two have some dark secret past you haven't told me?
However, in retrospect, it would have been better if we had not met. Thanks to you, I'm saddled with unnecessary feelings. What? Yes, unease and uncertainty.
Are you sure that those are the feelings that you
Aren't
feel?
those kind of necessary? They only serve to get in my way.
I can't be Edgeworth if I'm not on edge constantly.
It's worth it. You listen to me, Phoenix, right? Don't ever show your face in front of me again.
Too late!
That's why I came here to tell you.
Never get involved in one of my cases again, or else I'll be forced to feel things again. And most likely lose.
Mr. Wright, was that guy your friend?
What, friends? As if they're rivals. Rivals! Right, Nick?
For now we are, I guess.
What? You do have some dark secret past you haven't told me about? We're going out for drinks and you're going to spill everything. Come on, Will. Come on, Nick, tell me. What's the big deal about you and Edgeworth? Don't skimp out on the details, please.
So the curtain closed on another trial. I caused quite a stir by revealing that accident from 5 years ago.
Please tell me, Nick.
I was the talk of the town.
I need
Thankfully,
to know
Global
details.
Studios thought its programming changed, and they went back to making kid shows again.
Aww. Nick! This is it. The new show starts today. You're gonna watch it with me, right?
I'd admit, I was kind of surprised. I didn't think they'd actually seriously go through with it. You would have to...
You have to buy trading cards too, okay? Miles already said that he was going to trade with me. We have to trade with Cody and that assistant.
Man, I can't wait for a later game in which we find out who's actually in that suit. And then Edgeworth gets even more upset.
It'll be great. I already read that line.
Fine, I'll do it.
Isn't it great that WP gets to play the lead again?
I wonder if they'll show his real face this time. I don't know. I don't think the Will is ready for the Will Powers.
I don't think Will Powers is ready for the reveal of Will Powers.
Yeah. Well, we
Yeah.
solved this case.
Oh, that'll be... Oh, that looks like fun.
Oh, I forgot that there was only 4 cases to this, and the 5th one was added afterwards.
So, we're gonna stop here.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys next time with the start of the next chapter. See you guys next time.
See you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.